Dermot Brereton and Danny Frawley. Down boy, says Danny. Here's Winmar. Doing it on his own. They couldn't keep Brereton out of the game.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Ron and Malcolm. they viewed that with interest.
You might be the only one on the panel next year, Bob.
Oh, yeah, they're all. Calvin, you want to be coach, Calvin?
Are you approaching me? Is it
Hawthorn, StKilda,
Well, don't
Bob.
take StKilda. Let me say that. Don't take StKilda if the doc gives up. Because although Darryl Baldock said yesterday that they've improved and that Hawthorn weren't premiership material, Hawthorn were going half pace every time StKilda got to within anywhere near them. They just took the ball away and ran it up to the full forward line. I suppose it was unfortunate that Frawley had to play on Brereton, and I think that was a good move because it gave them both a chance to look after one another. But certainly McConville couldn't do anything in the early part of the game with Jason Dunstall. But Platten, Buckenara, all their good players start to fire up very quickly.
Bob, before we came on air, you were a little bit critical of tactics of Brereton. Do you want to enlarge on that?
Well, I'd like to ask Ron exactly, seeing that he's on the rules or the revision of the rules or something.
Something.
Well, I don't know the full title of your... what is it?
It's irrelevant anyway.
It's irrelevant, right. When you are 15 or 20 yards from the actual play and you start and run, and you time the run very well, I must admit that, and you get there and you collect someone that is really not in the play, but might be moving out to take the ball away.
Is it a charge or not?
Is it a charge or a shepherd, Ron?
I can't really answer that. It's something that is being discussed right now.
Is it in the spirit of the game? Is it in the spirit of the game?
Of course it should be more of it. We spoke about this yesterday.
Oh.
Is it in the spirit of the game? Well, if it's your side that's doing it, yes.
No, but genuinely, it is a feature that's starting to come in a little bit. I feel that if you don't really make a go at the ball, that you're not, if you don't have your eyes for the ball, you're not really...
Well, it's certainly something, if you start wiping out people because they're not ready for it...
That's right.
Well, that's no good for the game because you just can't. You just can't have a sport that is like that. However, you've got to be very careful when you talk on things like this because we do want to keep...
Physical contact in the game. Physical contact,
it's part of our game and it should be part of our game, providing people aren't getting seriously injured because they're caught unprepared. I'm not talking about accidents here.
No, I understand.
So it's a fine line between a shepherd and a charge.
Well, I mean, if you're smart enough, it's definitely a shepherd. I understand that, but it appears that they might be just stepping the line.
Are there many things in our game that aren't fine line? That's one of the things that makes it such a great spectator involvement game, isn't it?
Too many players go the opposite direction, I feel, and will run away from the player with the ball or his teammate to receive an easy handball rather than chop in behind him and take that player out that's chasing him.
I think that's a pretty valid point, Kel.
I think Bob's got a very valid point that I think if a guy's completely unprotected and a guy runs straight at him with the intent of knocking him down, whether it's hip or shoulder, shirt front...
Well, there was nothing untoward with what was going on.
I'm not talking about saying that. If the guy's got no intention of tackling or getting the ball, that should be reportable.
I think if the guy's shepherding and the guy behind just following on has been caught on, well, that's fair enough. I thought you were talking about a packed situation where you don't want to have players go into those situations and wonder where the hell you're going to get hit from. I mean, it's got to be some common sense.
Actually, just looking at what Brereton did on the day against Essendon when he ran through that huddle, I reckon that was one of the most craziest things I've ever seen on a football ground. And why he did not get not 6 weeks but 12 weeks for doing that, I'll never ever know. It was antagonising the opposition players.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, you can't do that, Ron.
Why can't you antagonise them if it's legal?
Just running through an opposition team like that was unbelievably stupid.
This is three-quarter time.
Yeah. I mean, fancy doing that.
Is that the thing you're talking about, Bob?
No, it wasn't the thing I was talking about, no.
That's in the same principle,
Yeah,
isn't
it is the same principle.
Let's go to vote.
Let me say this, that the Hawks were really magnificent yesterday. I think that they cruised along, won by 45 points. They got a couple of good players back. Mew came back and certainly played very well. But StKilda have got some good, exciting young players. One of them is Mick Dwyer, who plays around the centre. He did very well. I gave 2 to Buckenara who is in sensational form, and when they need the goal yesterday, kicked a beautiful goal for them, and Platten, of course, who was just streaming around the packs and opening it up for them and getting them.